Hey folks, I wanted to record a quick video just to address a concern that a couple of students have expressed recently about some of the materials that you needed to provide from home for a couple of your at-home lab activities. Um, so you're taking an online FOR class, either FOR 105, Physical Evidence, or FOR 106, Biological Evidences. And since this is a lab class, right, you do have to do labs at home. And so to be able to help you do that, we've put together home lab kits that we ship to you each semester. As you took the FOR 105 or 106 class, you had to pay a lab fee, either $80 or $90, depending upon which course you took. And we use those fees to be able to purchase the items necessary to put in a home lab kit and actually ship it to you. Um, However, there are some items that you're going to need to perform some of the labs this semester that aren't in those home lab kits. For example, in one of the classes, you need to buy a small bottle of isopropyl or rubbing alcohol, which you can buy from the dollar store for $1. In another one of the labs, it's necessary to purchase a 2-liter bottle of soda. Again, you can buy that for $1 at the dollar store. The reason that we didn't ship those to you in the home lab kits is it would make the home lab kits cost prohibitive. In other online lab classes, sometimes teachers, instead of putting the kits together themselves, which is what we've done in our department in order to keep the cost of the lab kits down, in other lab classes, for example, if you may have taken a chemistry or a biology class, you may need to order your lab kit from a company called eScience Labs. And it's a good company, and they put together really good home lab kits. However, those lab kits cost as much as $300 for students, and we didn't want to have students pay that much money for their lab kits. And so as we were designing our labs, there was a lot of thought put into what labs we could do, what materials that we would need to send to students, and what materials students would be able to provide for themselves. Hopefully, materials that they would already have in their home, like for example a ruler or a roll of tape or maybe a gallon of milk. However, there will be some items that you may need to go out and get from the store. Again, I mentioned the gallon of, or the 2-liter bottle of soda potentially you might need to get, or if you don't already have a bottle of rubbing alcohol, you might need to go get those things. We've tried to be very careful to make sure that those things are less expensive, things that you could purchase from the dollar store, for example. But there may be a few items this semester that you may have to go out and get to be able to complete some of your labs. And the reason for that is, again, if we were to ship those to you, the lab kits, it would cost upwards of $300 or $350. And so then the lab fee that you would pay for the class wouldn't be the $80 or $90 you paid, but it in fact would be $300. And we didn't want students to have to pay that much money. So it is kind of an inconvenience to have to go get a couple of things from the grocery store or the dollar store in order to complete some of your labs, but we thought it was more cost effective for students to be able to do that. So to answer the question as to why, that's really the reason why. Now, one quick comment I wanted to make. Because some of the labs do require you to go pick up some items potentially from the store, or hopefully maybe just gather them from your home, it is important that you prepare your lab prior to actually doing the lab. So for example, if the lab is due on a Friday night, I would not recommend that you start the lab on Friday, but that you actually try to do the lab the day or two before. And I would even recommend that you read through the lab procedures a day or two before that. Because if there is something you need to pick up from the grocery store, for example, maybe a bottle of rubbing alcohol, you have a day or two to be able to pick that up before you actually have to do your lab. Because if you wait until Friday night at 10 o'clock at night to do the lab, and then you realize you don't have a bottle of rubbing alcohol and you needed one, you're not going to be able to complete that lab. So I hope that answers the questions as to why, and I hope you understand the reason was for students. It was to make the lab kits less cost prohibitive. We didn't want to have to charge students $400 for those labs. If you have any questions, like always, please reach out to me. You can call me on my office number, which is listed in the syllabus, or you can email me or send me a Canvas message. Thanks, guys.